7 minutes.
Yeah, last week we recorded it, but it didn't work. It started to work, and then it just only recorded 7 minutes. It's a crazy thing. There's always obstacles around recording. I had told these in this class before that Lama Marut, who is a teacher in the same lineage, he tells his students to minimum have 5 recorders at his talks, because at one point there were 4 recorders there and all of them failed. So it's a delicate karma. Lots of obstacles arise, and we've noticed that several times, right? When we try to do things in the past, and it just doesn't record. You should have one class too. So we'll see if it works this time. Okay, so let's all just start in a little meditation. You can sit or you can lay down. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's going to be short. And then for my meditation, I'm going to do straight the reading that we did last week, which is the 14 verse text that this whole course is based on. So for those of you who haven't heard it, it'll be a nice thing to listen to. Basically, it's the whole path. Everything is wrapped into that verse, 14 verses. So get comfortable, trying to have your back nice and straight. Your crown is reaching upwards to the ceiling. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your seat is heavy. Your eyes can be closed or they can be slightly open, casting downward. And last week we started with counting to 10, so we do that again today. So you exhale and you inhale, and that's count 1. Exhale, inhale, 2. All the way up to 10. But if you find yourself starting to have thoughts, you go back to counting 1, which might mean you never get past number 2, which is fine. This is how we start to learn to concentrate, training our mind. Just keep pulling your mind in. Just starting back at the beginning when you feel your mind wander. And then start to think about your motivation. Why are you here? I will read now the 14 verses called The Three Principal Paths. It's written by Jason Kappa. If you want to straighten your legs out, if you're not comfortable, you can. Just listen. I bow to all the high and holy lamas. As far as I'm able, I'll explain the essence of all high teachings of the victors, the path that all their holy sons command, the entry point for the fortunate seeking freedom. Listen with a pure mind, fortunate ones, who have no craving for the pleasures of life, and who, to make leisure and fortune meaningful, strive to turn their minds to the path which pleases the victors. There is no way to end without pure renunciation. The striving for pleasant results in the ocean of life. It's because of their hankering life as well that beings are fettered, so seek renunciation first. Leisure and fortune are hard to find. Life is not long. Think it constantly. Stop desire for this life. Think over and over how deeds and their fruits will never fail. And the cycle suffering. Stop desire for the future. When you've meditated thus, and feel not even a moment's wish for the good things of cyclic life, and when you begin to think both night and day of achieving freedom, you have found renunciation. Renunciation, though, can never bring the total bliss of matchless Buddhahood, unless it's bound by the purest wish in soul. The wise seek the high wish for enlightenment. They're swept along on 4 fierce river currents, chained up tight in past deeds, hard to undo, stuffed in a steel cage of grasping self, smothered in the pitch-black ignorance. In a limitless round they're born, and in their births are tortured by 3 sufferings without a break. Think how your mothers feel. Think of what's happening to them. Try to develop this highest wish. You may master renunciation and the wish, but unless you have the wisdom perceiving reality, you cannot cut the root of cyclic life. Make efforts in ways then to perceive interdependence. A person has entered the path that pleases the Buddha when for all objects in the cycle or beyond, he sees that cause and effect can never fail, and when for him they lose all solid appearance. You've yet to realize the thought of the able, as long as 2 ideas seem to you disparate. The appearance of things, infallible interdependence, and emptiness, beyond taking any position. At some point, they no longer alternate, come together. Just seeing that interdependence never fails brings a realization that destroys how you hold to objects. And then your analysis with you is complete. In addition, the appearance prevents the existence extreme, emptiness, that of non-existence. And if you see how emptiness shows in cause and effect, you'll never be stolen off by extreme views. When you've grasped as well as I the essential points of each of the three principal paths explained, then go into isolation, my son. Make mighty efforts and quickly win your ultimate wish. So you can slowly come back. So it might be a little bit difficult to understand, what I just all said, but this will be unpacked throughout the next courses, which, can take many years. The idea is that you would take 18 courses in 5 years, but that can be, I'm on 7.5 years and I haven't completed 18 yet, so don't worry. Just, if you start to run the ideas that we'll be talking about through your head, that's really the main point. And of course, it'll be very beneficial to try to study and come to classes if you feel this resonates. So these 14 verses were written as a poem, as a letter to a student of Jason Kappa, because he first wrote, 10,000 pages on all of this, and then people couldn't understand or couldn't get through it, most likely. So then he did another text that was 200 pages, or maybe first 1,000, then 200 pages, something like that. And then in the end, 14 verses to keep it short, but everything's packed in it. So it's a very powerful verse once you can understand it. So the three principal paths, that's what this course is called. And we spoken about them last week, so it'd be good to review what they are. Hi, Carol. Maybe we should actually introduce each other. Can you just say your name and then everybody knows?
Carol. Sabrina. Val. Tonji. Mary.
Okay, Mariska. So let's talk about what those three principal paths are. What's the first one? Renunciation. So you probably heard that in the verse a couple times. It's the very first step that we must realize in our steps to becoming enlightened. So what does renunciation mean? Would be good to know. You can shout it out if you know.
Abandoning all hope of samsara.
Okay. So we have a couple of new people here, so maybe word it in a couple different ways.
Accepting or seeing that what seems to bring pleasure in this world is illusory, and therefore renouncing the pursuit or abandoning the pursuit of that.
Okay, so how we can look at that is that we're living in a world where a lot of people are striving for things like a good career or a good partner or I don't know, a nice body, education, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that we put all our hopes into it. We think that once we have that career, once we have that perfect partner, then we'll be happy. And, you know, if I just get that nice car, I'm going to save up for it. And then when I finally get it, you know, it's great for a day or two or three, maybe a couple weeks. And then we're not so excited about it anymore. So basically what we come to understand is that the object, the education, the fit body, the nice car, the nice partner, actually cannot make us happy. And that it doesn't work the way that we always think it works, you know? Because so we call it samsara, suffering life. It's suffering because highs and lows, they just come and go, you know? It doesn't stay. It doesn't stay everything is a high. There's always a low afterwards. And so in Buddhism, they say even, you know, a nice cup of tea is suffering. I truly enjoy this. I really like it. It doesn't feel like suffering, but it's not gonna last. It doesn't have qualities to make me happy, you know. It gives me temporary pleasure. But then the pleasure will end. And I'll need another cup of tea. And that's how we always chase, you know. Now we have that nice car. After a couple of weeks, that feeling runs out. So then it's the next thing. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll join a gym and I'll get this perfect body, you know. And then, you know, then we lose some weight and we think, okay, we'll look good. Then it's the next thing. Okay, now what is it? You know, I maybe need a new partner, or I don't know. But that's what we do, right? So renunciation doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy the nice cup of tea, you shouldn't have an education. It doesn't mean that. But it means more understanding that it's not going to give you lasting happiness. It's just suffering. So the happiness we need to attain in a different way. So renunciation is cultivating disgust for this life, disgust for the suffering that we see all the time. You know, we see so many people around us in pain, and we probably find ourselves in pain a lot of the times. So you're just done with it, and you understand that all these temporary fixes aren't going to help you in the long run, you know. Might make you feel good for a second, but then that pain will come again. So you're sick and tired of it. And it's good to even feel a little bit of anger towards it, you know? You're just done with it. And that will be the motivator to bring change that will last. So that is renunciation. Does that make sense, Val? Yeah. Okay. Mary?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. So that's the first, very important first step. Without renunciation, you cannot become a Buddha. Because why would you? If you don't want to give up, if you want to keep chasing all the things you chase, then of course you're not going to become a Buddha because the desire isn't there. So then the second path is what? Bodhicitta. Okay. What is bodhicitta?
Having the mind of a Buddha,
But
that's
not.
that's what it literally means.
Yes.
But layman's terms is like, I want to help. I want to help other people. I don't want to do this just for myself. I'm
Yeah.
here to help
Yeah. Yes. So without renunciation, you can never even reach bodhicitta, because if you don't want to get out of suffering, why would you even want to help other people get out of suffering? We first need to recognize that we are suffering and that we want to get out of it before we can even think about, hold on a second, everybody's in the same boat. And it pains me that other people are also in pain, and I don't want to see them in pain. So I will do this thing so I can help other beings too. So you're striving to become a Buddha for the sake of all beings. And then our last path is what?
The homework I read was correct view.
Correct view. What would that mean, Hogan?
Is that seeing emptiness?
Yeah, it definitely could mean that. Yeah.
I didn't hear.
Seeing emptiness.
Seeing emptiness. So having a correct view in the world. But until you have that experience, we can train ourselves, to get to that place by habituating our mind into this view. So can you explain what it means? What does emptiness mean?
The view is that we look at the world as happening to us and all around us and very solid, but it isn't. We can think of, but the correct view would be that is not so. That what we see is a projection, because the reality we're looking around us is empty of having its own nature. So to be aware that what we're seeing is being generated by ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that can sound very difficult, right? What does that mean? It's a projection. It's absolutely correct what Carol's saying. Let me explain it in this way. Okay, so I have a nice cup of tea. Thank you, Hogan, for that. To me, this is a very delicious cup of tea. Okay, now someone else comes along, has a sip of my tea, and doesn't enjoy it. Okay, so there should be like the first alarm bell going off. Okay, hang on. What does that mean? To me, this is very delicious. It feels like everybody who would try this particular tea would really like it. Which in this teaching we call that self-existent. It feels like, to me, it's a self-existently delicious cup of tea. It feels like to me, because I think it's delicious, that everybody should think it's delicious. But in reality, that's not how it works, Maybe Mary takes a sip and so spit it out. What's that, And then you can go further. People that have never seen a cup like this before, which, in our city might not be very many people. Most people have seen a cup of tea before. But I bet you there's some people in this world somewhere in the rainforest or something that have never seen this before. And they don't see a cup of tea, and they certainly don't see a delicious cup of tea. They see something else. They see, I don't know what they would see. What would they see? A game? A game. Or maybe a tool, or I don't know. It could be, I don't know. Hold it up for a baby. A newborn baby doesn't see a nice cup of tea either. A dog walks in here, doesn't see a nice cup of tea either, most likely. So what this means is that there's not a nice cup of tea out here. Because if it was, then everybody who would see this cup of tea would say, oh, that's a nice cup of tea, delicious cup of tea. Everybody, the baby would see that, the person in the rainforest would see that, the dog would see that. And it's not like that, is it? So in Buddhism we say, so the cup is empty of being a cup. It's not an existing cup out there for everyone to see. It's a cup of tea for me and for all of us in this room, most likely. And the reason for that is that we have a similar karma going on. So it's my karma to perceive this as a delicious cup of tea. If your karma is different, like Mary who would spit out my tea, her karma is such that she perceives it as not delicious. If your karma is different, you're a baby, you don't even see a cup here. You see something you want to bring to your mouth or something, right? So we say it's empty of being a nice cup of tea. So this is a very important idea in Buddhism. This is what can actually, when you understand it deeply, turn you into a Buddha, by understanding that concept. Because if it means that this cup of tea is not self-existent, it means that it counts for everything else, okay? For people, Serena, she's not self-existent, you know? How many people do we have in this room? 2, 4, 6, 7. Basically, there are 7 different Serenas in this room. We all perceive her differently. But it doesn't feel like that, does it? You know, if I speak for myself, I kind of think the way I see myself, I think other people see me like that too. But it's not true. It's not true. And when we think of somebody not doing something nice and we label that person as a jerk, it doesn't mean that they are a jerk. They're a jerk for you, but for their mother, they're, you know, their adorable daughter or son, you know. For me, it's a jerk. So who's right? Am I right? Or is the parent right? We're both right. We're both right. We just have a different perception. So this is what Carol was saying, like we all, you know, perceive things differently. And the way you perceive it depends on your karma. So this is correct view. You have to understand that everything we see, we are forced to see. I cannot see this cup of tea as a pencil. I can't. I'm forced to see this as a cup of tea. I'm forced to enjoy this cup of tea. I can't control it. Okay? And the reason why I'm forced to perceive it this way is because of the past deeds that I've done. So I've been generous to other people. This is why someone was generous for me to get me this cup of tea. I've taken care of others. I must have, otherwise this would taste like crap. I would not enjoy it if I had the karma in place to not enjoy it, which would be a result of doing something not so nice. So they say that when you think about karma, the causes and the results are similar. So any good deed that you do will lead to a good deed. Any negative deed you do will lead to a negative outcome. Okay? So I've done a good deed, so I can rejoice. I have a nice cup of tea here that tastes good. If my karma was different, my perception of this empty cup of tea, because this cup of tea is not delicious from itself. It's not even a cup of tea from its own side. Okay? So because of my karma, I can perceive it like this. Now, this is a huge topic. So this would take years to unpack further and to understand deeper. But does it make sense so far? Yeah. Val? Yeah? Okay. Mary? Yeah. Okay. So those are the three principal paths. So this is what Buddhism is based upon. Just on these three ideas. That's all. That's why he says in the end of the verse, what did he say? When you have grasped as well as I the essential points of each of the three principal paths explained, then go into isolation. Make mighty efforts and quickly win your ultimate wish. So he's saying, when you understand these three principal paths, then go and meditate in a cave. We don't have to do that. We can, but we don't have to. Really, he's saying that's all. These three ideas, three big ideas. Go and understand them, and then you can win your ultimate wish, which is Buddhahood. So that was a little review for last class. So we're moving on to this week's class. Do we need a couple minute break? Or okay? You're okay? Okay. So this concept that we're going to talk about right now has been a very confusing one for myself. I've not taught it before. I was told it's okay to not teach it when you don't fully understand it because it's not crucial. It's not crucial to become enlightened. It's not crucial. Even I think in all the 18 courses I've heard this once mentioned again. So I'll try to explain it, but I tell you that I have spent hours trying to understand it. And I think I kind of understand it, but I wish I could say I understand it more than I do. I listened to many audios, I looked up in many books, I even emailed an author of a book about logic and debate to get explanation, which may have confused me even more. But in any case, let's go over it. It's called Mushi Musum. Say Mushi Musum. Okay, so Mu means a possible combination of two things. So it's a method of comparing two things, objects. She, I didn't write it down. She is 4, Sum is 3. Okay, Carol knows this.
So, sorry, what was she?
She is 4. 4. And Sum is 3. So basically what they're saying is with any two objects in this universe, there's a relationship that goes either 3 or 4 ways. Okay? So these 4 ways. A, but not B. B, but not A. A and B. Not A, not B. So let's just use a simple example. Let's say red ball, okay? So we have red is A, ball is B. So is there something that is A but not B? Is there something, can you see there? Is there something that is red but is not a ball? Yes, right? There's lots of red things. Is there something that is a ball but is not red? Yes. Okay, so we have two yeses. So they're already related in two ways. Okay? Then is there something that is both A and B? Is there something that is red and a ball? Yes, there is a red ball. Yeah? Is there something that is not A and not B? Is there something that is not red and is not a ball? Yeah, lots of things, right? White marker. So this is something they do in the monasteries in a debate, especially the little kids, which is, I guess, why it frustrated me that I couldn't understand the point of it. If it's just something common, you know, they're supposed to memorize texts during after their teachings during the day, and then at night they debate. Debating is a big thing in the monastery to try to help them understand the teachings deeper that they have learned that day. So they have to memorize texts and then debate each other. So Geshe Michael said that if students didn't really memorize properly, they always just do mushi musu. That's just a cop-out to not doing your proper homework. So you can do this with anything. And so I think the reason is for us to just think about how things are related, that things are related, and we can also see some cause and effect. So what they brought up in this class is virtue a cause for Buddhahood? Okay, so we can mushi musun that. We make virtue into A, and then it calls for Buddhahood into B. So let's first, before we do that, talk about what is virtue, because we should know what that means. Okay. So what is virtue? Can somebody tell me what is virtue?
Just a good deed.
A good deed. Yes. Yes. Virtue is a good deed. Now we have virtue and we have virtue. We have virtue steeped in ignorance, or we have virtue steeped in wisdom. We can do good deeds, and we'll go over a list of 10 good deeds that we have gone over in other courses before to give us an idea of what are the main virtues we can do. But before we do that, let's think about what is virtue? Virtue done with ignorance. What is virtue done with wisdom? When I say wisdom, I'm referring to that third principal path, meaning karma and emptiness, okay? So you can do good deeds. You can go help in a soup kitchen. You can raise money for any kind of charity. It's great. Obviously, it's great to do good things for many reasons. In Buddhism, they would say that when you have no wisdom and you do good deeds, Hogan said it, doing a good deed will lead to a good result, right? Doing good deeds will lead to a similar result. So when I go help in a charity, say, that can result in something similar happen for me. Like, I don't know, I'm in need, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this help shows up and helps me with whatever I needed. Okay, so this is a result of the cause that I put in, and then it goes away. if you have wisdom, it will not just go away. It becomes more powerful. When you have wisdom, knowing that when you receive this help that you received, you know that it's because you've helped someone in the past. This powers it up. Then it keeps going, okay? Otherwise, it just ends. You get your result and it's done. But if you have this wisdom, understanding where it comes from, then you're on your way to Buddhahood, really. You start to understand how reality is working, how nothing is connected in the way it appears, but that everything comes from causes from before. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I got a phone call this morning. My mother-in-law, she worked for 37 years at Sears. Before I was Sears, it was Woodward's. So she worked for 25 years at Sears, and then before that at Woodward's. And she decided to retire. Okay, well, that's great. Good for her. So her last day was yesterday. They didn't give her anything. They didn't give her a thank you, a verbal thank you. They didn't give her a card. They didn't give her, sometimes you hear people get a watch or something. I don't know. Some kind of gratitude for giving 37 years of her life to this company, okay? Nothing. Now, this could potentially make you angry, right? You could go like, what the heck? I gave you my whole life and you can't even thank me? I'm not saying it's okay from Sears. I'm not saying I'm not going to phone them and say, it would be really nice if you can thank your employees that given their life for your company, However, if you understand where this is coming from, it can make you angry because you understand that you have put those causes in place yourself. So for not being thanked for something that you've done is a result of you not acting grateful to other people or not remembering things for other people that are important. Say, I don't know, a birthday of someone who deems their birthday very important, but she never, something like that. I mean, I'm just making stuff up, right? So when you understand that everything that's happening to you is just a result of how you have treated other people in the past, you can't really be angry. You can recognize, oh, darn it, I've not given other people what they wanted. I've not given other people that recognition that they deserved. And now I'm not receiving that myself. And that's all that's going on. See, that's a very different way of standing in this world because you are not blaming everybody around you for your misery. You start to take responsibility and hopefully then you realize, okay, I have to get on top of this because maybe this is showing me that I'm not really thinking about others that much. Let's try to be more mindful here and see if I can give people what they want, what I think they want, what I think they need, and make effort in that. And then that will result into being recognized into something too, which, is nice, but I don't think that's the reason why you should do it, to get that recognition yourself. I think it's nicer to think, okay, I noticed that I wasn't feeling very nice that I didn't get that recognition. And if I make other people feel like that, let's try not to do that. So it's a very opposite way of thinking. And that can be very difficult. It's something you have to get your mind used to. But it's also very beautiful because we can finally take responsibility for our own actions and not worry so much about other people doing us wrong. We can recognize, okay, I've done someone else wrong. Let's try to not do that again, right? Yeah.
I just want to
Yes.
it won't go away. So when you drink that tea and you say, okay, this is a result of my karma, I'm enjoying this tea because I've helped others enjoy tea.
Yes.
Like that. Does that mean that perhaps you only gave somebody tea once,
Mm-hmm.
but because you've recognized that's why you're getting this cup of tea, you might have 10 cups of tea or 100 cups of
It
tea.
could, yeah. I don't know. We can see how that really works when we are a Buddha, because they say karma is deeply hidden. It's a very almost impossible for us to understand. Assuming you're not a Buddha, it's tough to understand. But yes, what I was trying to say is that maybe it will result in 10 cups more. Maybe it will result in plain old virtue to get me closer to enlightenment, and because you need a lot of virtue to have realizations. So thinking like this cup of tea is brought to me by my past deeds, by my kindness. That's why I can enjoy it. That's the only reason why I can enjoy it. I'm planting seeds. I'm planting virtue that will ripen. Yeah, into more wisdom, into spiraling upwards. Really,
So
yeah.
it could be tea, it could be other virtue comes your way.
Both probably. Yeah. Yeah.
And karma goes from lifetime to lifetime.
Yeah. So, because this is not a karma class per se. There's a whole course on karma. But yes. You can have something happen to you that might be a result from your last life. But they say the more wisdom you have, the quicker the results are coming. So you can, once you think about this cup of tea, what I just described, I can see results very quickly in this life. It speeds up the whole process.
So Mariska, what turned you to saying, like, when you first said virtue steeped in ignorance or in wisdom, I thought of the person doing the deed now, like, just say for example, I'm giving you the cup of tea, and if I'm kind of going, oh well, giving that and understanding what I do now, I kind of know that it will be merit for me.
Absolutely.
Right? But
yes.
what you're talking about was a little different because that's the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Isn't that the fruit of your past action?
It is the fruit. It is the result. But now I'm using it as a cause.
Oh, just the recognition that it is helps it be a seed.
Yeah.
Like,
so now this is going to be a cause for virtue.
The understanding that this was from past is almost like then you're planting it back.
Otherwise, it's done.
Oh,
okay. If I just drink it and not think about it, it's done.
That seed
that
karma
ripened.
has ripened, and that if you recognize, it was that, automatically it's like
planting
putting
new
a seed
seed.
back into the.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's
And
nice.
one question is, what is the difference between life that isn't personal? So in other words, looking at the situation with your mother-in-law, obviously it's not about her, it's about the company. It has nothing to do with her. She didn't receive anything. Could be nothing to do with her, not with her karma, not with her income. It's all about, because life's not personal, so it's about the company. It's how, right? So it's how they handle when people leave their company. They don't do anything.
But so there's so many ways to look at it. You can actually, I don't know if that's a normal thing. Maybe they do it to everybody. Maybe they throw everyone a party, but just forgot about her. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Sears. Maybe it's not the company. Maybe it was just her supervisor that overlooked it. I don't know.
But
not the
again,
point.
But I
But
think
the
I kind of hear what Serena's saying. I'm kind of going, doesn't it that this situation really was like how your mother-in-law interpreted it?
Yeah.
that's
If your mother-in-law was saying, "Oh, I feel really bad," that is her karma because she feels bad. Now, if she didn't feel bad, then you're right. If she, this is Mariska's trying to give us a story, but she might be like, "Oh, I'm happy. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I don't want anything more from them."
Yeah.
And
I
she's not
absolutely
even unhappy that they didn't give it to her. She didn't. It's more like how you receive it.
Yeah.
Like I give her tea.
So
tea
the
and
receiving
yeah, it's the
is
receiving.
the karma,
Yeah.
not
Is,
the.
I gave Mariska
okay, got it.
this, and maybe they put the wrong thing. They put coffee in, and Mariska's like, I don't like it. Her karma, Mariska's karma was like, now I got something bad, and that was what it was. For
so we
her.
all each get our own karma, so I actually don't know how my mother-in-law
took it.
perceived it. Maybe like Hogan, maybe she's like, I don't care, I'm out of here, I'm just gonna have my umbrella drink and chill out. I don't know, maybe she's angry, maybe she's upset.
If she's upset.
I don't know. Whatever she perceives it as is her karma, is her thing. Now, how I perceive it as, because I'm like, hey, that's my mother-in-law, not okay. That's my karma.
That's your karma.
So I will decide to give them a call just to let them know, do you realize that you forgot about her? Because I think for them as a company, it's good karma for them to recognize the people that work for them, which will help their company and the people that work there. This is my perception. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe there's a whole different story why they didn't do it. I don't know. But all we have is our own perception, and we can work with that. So you should respond in a way that you think is beneficial. So I personally think it will be beneficial if I give them a call. My karma could have been different and think, okay, this is what it is, and I'm not doing anything about it. Okay. I think you have to do what you feel is helpful for other people, and don't make it about you. I'm not upset about it. I understand that all of everybody's perceptions are the way they are because they're forced to perceive them that way. That's fine. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect somebody, right? If somebody is killing people on the street, it doesn't mean that we think, well, that's just everyone's karma that they're now dead and we'll just let the guy on the loose. Doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't capture the guy for other people's safety and put him in prison, So we should protect the people, and the only way we can protect them is, how we perceive it, how we think we can help. And then our motivation is pure if we want to protect other people and do what we think is right. But if we can always think about karma and emptiness when things are happening, that would be greatly beneficial because it'll not make it so much about me, We recognize that we are forced to feel this way because of our actions. And anyways, so we should keep going because I got a lot more stuff to cover here. So the virtues, we have 10 virtues that are like 10 famous virtues that we can do. I know that Hogan must be able to name a couple at least.
Starting from that first one, to do no harm.
Yeah.
To do no harm, to not. Did you guys want to write it down? I'll say it slowly.
It's not in the homeworks or anything. You can just listen. It's up to you.
To tell the truth, be truthful, to respect other people's partner. I guess and the fourth one is, the second one was supposed to be to honor, to not steal, to honor other people's property, and the fourth one was to be truthful. The fifth one is to sixth one is to speak kindly to others. And the seventh one is to be aware of your speech, meaningful.
So what was the one before that? After bringing people together.
Just
Speak
to
kindly.
speak kindly.
kindly.
Number 7 is to be aware of your speech, so you're saying meaningful words, as opposed to idle chat. And number 8 is to help others. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mariska, the 9th one is to help someone in need.
No.
That one is
So I think the last one too, you said it's being happy when other people get what they want.
Say that again.
Being happy when other people get what they want.
Being happy for others.
Yeah.
And number 9, is it helping someone? I thought it was in need. That's kind of what I've always.
Not being sad. Sorry. The opposite of that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
So
Number 9 is not
not being happy with
envious of someone who
yeah.
gets what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good to know. So the 9th one, Ranjit and Mariska was saying, is to not feel envious, I guess.
Yeah. Being
When someone
happy
gets-
when other people get what they don't want. Mhm.
Say that again. Being
The 9th one.
nice. I still don't get
So do not be happy when other people get something they don't want.
Oh, don't.
So if
Yeah.
Hogan gets sick and I'm don't do that.
Oh, but I thought we were talking about the do's. So then do you want to be?
Yeah, you can say it in a positive or a
Yeah,
negative way.
That's why I was trying to stay to the positive
Yeah.
one.
Positive way is
Be
good.
happy when they're. But the 8th you're saying is to be happy when they get what they want.
Yeah.
So then I guess the 9th would be to not be.
To not wish ill on others.
To not wish ill
Yes,
on others.
thank
I think
you,
that's
yes.
it. That's
And then the last
the
one.
last one is to have the correct view of the world.
Yeah. So do these and
Like
Mm.
that.
And empathize. Empathize would be a positive.
so let me put them in a negative way. So don't kill, don't steal, don't do sexual misconduct, don't lie, don't do
We didn't have.
sorry?
Oh,
Don't
These are the opposite of
the opposite. It's the same, right? Don't kill, don't steal, don't do sexual misconduct, don't lie, don't do divisive speech, don't do useless talk, don't do harsh words. Then don't be
crave what others.
crave love. And then don't be happy when they get what they don't want.
I thought that one was don't wish ill will on
It's
others.
coveting.
Yeah, when they do
Coveting.
that double negative, I always get confused.
It is
Right, but
confusing. Yeah.
Not to
What's number 10?
number 9. Oh,
Wrong
that was
world
number 9.
What's that?
Wrong world view.
Okay, thank you.
The incorrect view. Okay, so now we know what the 10 virtues are. So we go back to this, right? Okay, so A would be virtue, B would be it being a cause for Buddhahood. So can you have virtue but not have Buddhahood?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Can you have Buddhahood without having done virtue? Cannot. Absolutely not. Okay? Nobody's ever become a Buddha by doing these 10 non-virtues. Okay?
But also the virtue can be in the mind too. So I can't donate to the person outside, and I can say, "So sorry in my head, I don't have a loonie on me today.
You
I
can
wish you would
wish.
and walk past him."
Yeah.
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 So virtue
Absolutely.
can be in thought.
Yeah. So it can be in 3 ways, right? Body, speech, and mind. Yeah. So can you have virtue and Buddhahood? Yes. Can you have no virtue and no Buddhahood? Yes. Okay. So that's mushimusu. So I think it just forces us to take a look at two combinations and see how they are related. Okay.
So I don't see the point of that. So not all of those were yeses.
No,
All of
remember
those
I
were
said to
no.
you
It's a
that
way of debating.
It's just debating.
they have to be related in either 3 or 4 ways. So you get either 3 yeses or 4 yeses. So I had troubles trying to figure out what is the goal. Why are we doing this? You know, it didn't really make sense. Does it mean if you have a certain amount of yeses that it means it is a clause? Or, you know, I was confusing myself.
So 3 or 4 yeses is a clause.
Always no. So don't forget about that. I think it is just a way
Debating is sharpen their minds.
to make you think about
How to compare two things.
possible things. Yeah, they can either be cause and result. They can be synonyms. We can just see how two things are related. Okay.
So you can't
So-
really, don't even have to say 3 or 4 yeses then, if it's just a matter of debating.
You don't. So this is why I never taught it before. We can just talk about virtue being a cause for Buddhahood without this too. But I just wanted to bring it in just because. So don't worry about it too much. It's just a way to make us think a little bit more. Okay, moving on. So I didn't tell you, Mary and Val, that these courses each course has readings per class, homeworks, quizzes, and a final exam. This is all online. You can print it out. You can send it to a copy shop and get it printed out. Or you can just read it online, do the reading online, or you do nothing. You just come to class and listen. Okay? So you don't have to do anything, but you can. It's optional. Okay? The reason why there's homeworks and quizzes and finals and readings is just a way to bring your mind there again and again, make you think. Every homework has some meditations, assignment. So if you do all of that, I think it's a really great thing to do. It's very virtuous to place your mind there, to think about it over and over again. But it's not for everybody, okay? And some of us have very busy lives, and it's just not something they feel drawn to do. So don't feel you have to. But if you do, you can come talk to me, and I'll give you the link and can set you up. Or even if you just want to do the reading, the readings are quite beautiful of this course. So that's also an option. So as I go through this class, my goal is to give all the answers for the homeworks. So they're all hidden in this class, some more obvious, some not. So by listening to this class, you should be able to do your homework in combination with looking through the reading, and there's some notes in those binders also that will provide answers. So one of the questions in the homework is, what is Mahamudra? And Mahamudra is a Sanskrit word, and it means the great seal. Maha means great or big, and mudra means gesture, seal. So it's like seal, like wax on a letter. Okay. And gestures like yoga mudra. So it refers to emptiness. And when we were talking about emptiness, the emptiness of the cup, what one of the main goals in Buddhism is to have this realization directly. And this happens in deep meditation. Once you have this meditation, once you reach this place, which takes a heck of a lot of virtue, this is why we need to do all the virtue, this is why we should come to classes to try to understand, make sense of all of this. Then one day you sit in meditation and you can't stop it. You're going to have this experience, and it's an experience that's very hard to describe. But basically, you will have full understanding of it once you come down from this meditation. You just get shut up, and once you come down, anybody can tell you anything, but it doesn't matter. You know what you know now. It's a life-changing experience that will now set you off to reach Buddhahood. Now there's no turning back, Once you've seen emptiness, now every thought that you have, everything is steeped in this knowledge. So everything you do, you don't even think about it anymore. You just know that the cup is not a cup from its own side, Any interaction with people, like everything is steeped in that deep, deep wisdom, in that deep, deep knowledge. And now you're going to become enlightened rather quickly. And what happens is that because you have this deep wisdom, all your mental afflictions are starting to fall away because you don't buy into them anymore. You deeply understand that every affliction, what is an affliction?
Movement of the mind.
It's a disturbance, like every little disturbance of the mind, every negative thought, every pain, like all of that is affliction. So those will all fall away. Jealousy, anger, like all of it, that's afflictions, right? This is what keeps us cycling, because we believe so deeply in all of our stories, We truly believe that they do bad things to me, poor me, and I'm so angry with that person, and this keeps us cycling in this cycle of suffering. Once you see emptiness, you are no longer buying into this. You're no longer cycling. You are on your way out. Okay. So it's a very big deal, and it's very important. And so then once these courses, these 18 courses, they're called sutra courses. Then we also have courses that are called tantric courses. Tantric courses are secret, and they're secret in the sense of their self-keeping secret. So you can't really share it with other people. People that aren't ready, they just can't understand it. So that's how it kind of remains a secret. It a little bit hard to explain, but once you do tantric teachings, the idea is that you can become enlightened in this life. So it can get really, really quickly. If you do the sutra courses, if you stay in sutra, it will just take a little bit longer. Okay. Eventually, you will go to the tantric path, whether it's in this life or your next. But what they stress so deeply in this class is that you cannot have tantric teachings, you cannot have a tantric understanding if you do not have the three principal paths in your mind. Okay. So then you can do the Musum with three principal paths in the tantric teachings. If you don't have the foundation, nothing will happen. You can go, teachers come all the time that do tantric initiations. You can sign up, you can pay $50, they give you a blessing, they give you an initiation, and now you're initiated. Doesn't mean nothing if you don't have the three principal paths in your heart, in your mind, deeply ingrained. Okay, it will do nothing. It might make a nice day, you know. But if you have those three paths in your mind, then there's no stopping it. Then Tantra will come, okay? Then you will become enlightened. So I'll read you a little bit of a short little story that Geshe Michael wrote. So there's a question here. Is there a relationship between three principal paths and a tantric practice? I had a lady come up to me and say, Geshe Michael, take me in a room, give me a secret practice. And I said, okay. And I took her in a room and I said, here it is. The book you started out 6 years ago on the three principal paths. This course that we're doing right now, okay? And she got angry. She actually got angry and she said, don't teach me this off-the-shelf Dharma stuff. I want a deeper practice. I want something like Mahamudra or something sexy like that. And I said, you don't get it. Practice these three things well, and you don't need a tantric initiation. Get it? You will be seeing Vajra Yogini in the flesh sitting next to you. You'll meet her one night walking down 2nd Avenue and 5th Street, okay? And she'll say, how are you doing? So good to see a Vajra Yogini practitioner in the East Village. So if you keep these three principal paths, the Lamrim, steps on the path to Buddhahood, study it well, keep it well, you will be in the tantric realm before you can say. And so and then he says, you know, you can open up any New Age magazines seeing that they're offering the tantric initiations, and you go there and they're wearing all these special hats and they're doing you get the initiation. But if you don't have these three things, absolutely nothing will happen. I promise you. I've met Americans who've been trying to do that for 20 years. They didn't get anywhere, and they know it. So it doesn't work like that. You have to develop it inside of you. You have to develop it inside of you. If you do, then those things can happen. And those tantric initiations can have their effect. Okay. So that's just to stress that we need the three principal paths until the very end. Okay.
Tantric teaching, is that actually a course? Or does that just mean if you've got the three principal paths, you can be just walking down the street and you'll have realizations? Yeah. That's what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there isn't anything secret about it?
It's just secret because you can't have the experiences until you have the virtue to have them, okay? So you can go to an initiation and nothing will happen because you don't have these three ideas steeped into your mind. So that's how it's a self-keeping secret, okay? Because you can explain a tantric teaching to people if they're not ready, they can't hear it, okay? It just doesn't work. So yes, there's tantric courses. I think there's also 18 binders of those. If you want to do that after these 18, you can go that way. But the idea is it's unstoppable. Once you have these ideas, it will happen to you some way or another. Okay. So it's 2 o'clock right now. If you have to leave right now, you can. I still have 5 or 10 minutes more to do.
I have to put money in the meter.
Okay, sure.
Can I run and do that?
Is everybody okay for another few minutes? Do you need to go, Serena?
I've got another 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I was going to say we'll have a couple minute break, and then we'll finish it off. So Val can put money in her meter.
And then I can send a text and let them know I'll be a little later.
Okay, good.
It all works.
So stretch your legs and
I've been on a retirement committee where people go to great lengths not to be recognized.
Mariska, I didn't want to interrupt, but if you say
People won't tell
virtue,
you
when
until
you
after
recognize
they
it,
retire.
that this doesn't
Some
apply
people
to
want golf course experience. Some people want nothing. Some people want anything in
that
between.
happened to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize that.
But yeah, it is on the receiving side, isn't it? I was walking up.
One second, let me just send this text and just make
That
sure.
happened to you. Oh, yeah, that's from my karma. Doesn't plan the same. Yeah, I didn't think so. That would
wouldn't be
really
good.
stink. Yeah. I don't wanna, you don't want that to ripen or re.
No. Okay, great.
And I give you 2 tickets because just in case,
Oh.
I'm a little bit late,
Okay,
then you can give it to someone and you guys can go in first.
okay,
So I gave 3 to Charlotte. And I gave the other.
okay. So Ingrid and Veronica are coming?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of these would be for Ingrid or
So
Veronica?
yeah, you and Charlotte might be there early, and
So,
Okay.
then once you see whoever, then you guys go in, and I'll come in when I can,
Yeah.
as soon as I can.
Are you driving there?
Yeah, I probably should. 'Cause
I
it's down
wonder-
on Water Street.
Yeah, there's no parking there is all like 2 hours.
Women.
I'm
Oh,
wondering
is it?
how to do that.
Oh, you've been
Aboriginal
there
Native
before?
American.
I don't
No,
know.
but I've
Two
been
Heard.
yes
There's a
down
white
many
couple in front
times.
of me and I was behind them walking up the
Maybe in
street.
the like the meters.
So this
Mhm.
woman starts
But then
belting
don't they
out
stop after like
racist
8?
things
No,
to
they
the
go till 10
white
o'clock.
couple. And
Yeah.
then she sees me.
So if
and
to
she
do that, I
lights
guess
it
there
up.
must be underground parking
And she
that you
says a
can
bunch of
park
things.
There
for
is a
longer.
lot. I
So we
thought
go
if it's right
past
in
her,
downtown, there's this
and
like
the white couple turn
orange
around and
key
they
lock.
apologize. We're
It's
so
like
sorry
the
that
number.
happened
If
to
it's a
you.
meter, you
And
can add more.
Once I was out
after
of
the
earshot,
two.
I couldn't
Oh.
stop
Fill it in
laughing.
and
Okay.
add
Because I just
another
thought it
hour
was
and a
so
Okay.
absurd.
even
Okay.
after 1
But
hour. if
5
it has
years,
to
10
break
years
at
ago, if someone had said something, I would
7:30,
have gone home feeling so
go
bad
put
about
another
myself.
$1.
It probably will have a
But
break,
even now, when
right?
I think about
Yeah.
it,
Or-
I think
3
it's
hours.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was like it was almost like
Yeah.
a setup, like someone was on
Okay, thank you.
camera standing there doing this
Yeah,
kind
so I was
of thing.
gonna. You can forward it, but anyway, I printed it. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, I'll see you.
children.
Great.
Yeah, I didn't want if
Biggest lesson
you guys are there, somebody's there at 6:30, or you happen to be there early, then you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds great. Thank you.
Are like,
Yeah. Give you some money for that.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
Mondays.
you took it personally?
Yeah.
You feel terrible. You're the worst. You won't let me go. You won't let me do this. You're the worst
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, I said, there's one,
So I
like
always
these 3
say
pass.
single parent is a crash course on
In
It's
reality.
something
Insanity.
you can.
I'm not
They're
taking
not
life
sequential.
personally.
It's not like you can only.
And how others judge you too.
Well, the third one.
When I
Well, I guess you do need each one in succession, but
Not
you get that
necessarily,
much reading
but
that just 3 thoughts you want to hold on to all the time. It's not like, well, not like Mahayana and then that's
it is depending on what school you are. If you're in a different school, you can actually see emptiness without bodhicitta.
take them for the weekend.
You can, but you would have to have pronunciation.
So yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't put in any work, right? So that it is possible, but
And it's
in this
interesting
lineage,
that,
we're striving for a full meal deal, Why not go all the way?
Talking about, something that happened for
Keep all
child
3.
And renunciation is the one that leads to bodhicitta.
It's not personal.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Okay, so we're all back.
It's huge.
Don't forget that. Game over.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
That's my practice. Go ahead, taking that on.
Right now, Mariska? You
I
can
didn't
just
practice
do
the
one
practice.
virtue, that would be the right view. One virtue. You have to pick one virtue, just do right view all the time.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And then everything you can do is steeped in that, and then
It's huge, right?
you're okay. So a couple more things. So say top, P, top, Tap means method. And Shirab, this is Tibetan. Shirab means wisdom. Okay, so two main causes for Buddhahood are method and wisdom. And method
Two main causes, did you say?
causes, yeah. Method is what? Do you know? Method, they also call them sometimes the two wings of the Buddha, method and wisdom. So it refers to compassion and wisdom. Two wings of the Buddha. So method is bodhicitta, right? That wish to free everyone from their pain. You want to take the pain away. You want them to be free. So we call that method. Method and wisdom. So method is bodhicitta, Sharab is wisdom. And then I've already said this in this class, you know, because now where did renunciation go? We say two causes for Buddhahood, method and wisdom, bodhicitta and wisdom. So where's renunciation? Renunciation is the prerequisite to bodhicitta, okay? Because if you're not willing to help yourself, then how are you going to want to care about other people? Okay? So we first need to have renunciation before we can have bodhicitta. So Jason Kappa, the author of this text, has proven to us in this class that to be a Buddha, you must have great virtue of the three principal paths in your heart. Okay? And to practice Tantra, Mahamudra, you must have the three principal paths in your heart. You cannot have wisdom without method. You must have three principal paths to reach Buddhahood. So I just said to Hogan in the little break that you actually can see emptiness directly without having bodhicitta. However, it doesn't mean that you can become a full Buddha. You cannot be fully enlightened without having bodhicitta. You can't. You can reach nirvana. But in this lineage, you're like, why? Why not just go all the, why not just incorporate all beings and not make it just about ourselves? Let's do this for the greater good and become a fully enlightened being. Rather than reaching nirvana, nirvana is the place where all of your afflictions are gone. So you are just in a constant state of bliss. And the difference between nirvana and Buddhahood is that Buddhahood incorporates all beings. You know, you gain omniscience, which means you know all things from all past, future, and now you can read everybody's mind, so you know how to help them. You know what they need. Okay? So this is the big thing about becoming a Buddha. When you're in nirvana, you don't have this omniscience. You don't have this all-knowing. And nirvana is obviously an amazing place to be, which you cannot be without being a good person. So it's not that I'm trying to diss nirvana. Absolutely not. But in this lineage, like, no, let's just go all the way. Okay? Let's not just take that as a goal, nirvana. Let's use total enlightenment, Buddhahood as a goal, so we can help others. The there's two bodies of a Buddha. And when we say two bodies, it means parts. It's not like a Buddha has two different bodies. It's different parts to a Buddha. So, say chuku, suku. Okay, so chuku is Tibetan. In Sanskrit, we say Dharmakaya. Dharma body. So Dharmakaya is the mind of a Buddha. Okay, so that's one part of the Buddha, the mind. The other part, suku, is the form body. Okay, Rupakaya in Sanskrit. So we have Dharmakaya, Rupakaya. Dharmakaya, mind of a Buddha. Rupakaya, body of a Buddha. And then I'm going to skip, we can divide those two, but it's not in the homework, so we're just going to skip that for now. Just know that the basis, the Dharmakaya, the mind of a Buddha, is caused by your wisdom. The form body, Rupakaya, is caused by your good deeds. Okay? So gaining wisdom is mainly the basis, the cause for the Dharmakaya. Gaining this wisdom is the cause for the omniscience of a Buddha, the all-knowing. Yeah? And it's the part of you that you will always have. The Rupakaya, the form body, is caused by your good deeds. Is caused by bodhicitta and renunciation. So the first two paths cause the form body of a Buddha. The third path causes the mind of a Buddha, the Dharmakaya. And then the very last thing of this class is 2 obstacles to Buddhahood. So if you can get rid of these 2, you will be a Buddha.
Can you be a Buddha without a body then? Can you be just a Dharma?
I don't think so. No. Let's say no. The 2 obstacles to Buddhahood is Shedrip. Say Shedrip. She is know or knowledge, and drip is obstacle. And the second one is Nyondrip. Nyondrip. Nyon means bad thought, and drip is obstacle. Okay, so 2 obstacles. The first one, obstacle of knowledge. So, knowledge. So if you don't have wisdom, this is an obstacle to becoming enlightened. This is why we're trying to teach you about the cup, about karma and emptiness, to get the knowledge so you can become a Buddha. Without the understanding, you cannot become a Buddha. The second obstacle is the bad thoughts. Okay? So, disturbing thoughts, mental afflictions. You need freedom from those. And once you start to embark on this path, and you start to look at your mind, all of a sudden you can get way more of these mental afflictions. Or it may seem like you got way more because finally you're paying attention to your mind. It can be very disturbing when you start to see what you're thinking all the time. How badly you're judging everybody, and how much anger you have coming up, or jealousy. We all have our special one, right? For me, it was jealousy for many, many years. God, so difficult to deal with that, you know. But the way we can kill it is by stopping to believe in all those stories and start to understand that you're forced to perceive it that way, right? Then all of a sudden you will start to take responsibility. You will start to plant those new karmas, those new seeds, and that no longer involve the things that will cause you to be jealous later on, right? For me, you know, being a jealous person, what's great to do always is to practice being so happy for other people all the time, you know? Going out of my way to counter that bad habit that I have created in my mind, that I have had, you know, this lifetime, I don't know about before, as a very deep ingrained habit. And it takes time to create new habits, right? So every time I would have a jealous thought, I'm like, okay, here we go again. Okay, so I make offerings to the person that I'm jealous of in my mind, or in real life, I'll give them something, all just to fix that. And because I want to get rid of it so badly, because it causes unhappiness, right? You cannot be happy and be jealous at the same time. One of them has to go, yeah? So I want jealousy to go so it can be happy. And when my mind's not always disturbed by being jealous, my mind's open for other people, and I can be way more kinder when I'm not so concerned about me and my jealousy, right? If I don't have jealousy, I have so much more to give. So that's a place worth striving for. So you can figure out what is your specialty, you know, maybe you have anger, maybe you have, I don't know, pride. A lot of people have a lot of pride. So can you try to stop that by creating new habits? And can be very tough to see how you are ruled by your thoughts. So it's an obstacle. It's clearly an obstacle, our afflictions of our mind. So when we remove these obstacles, by understanding emptiness, by understanding how reality works, then you can become a Buddha. And that, one more thing. Jason Kappa wrote all of these texts, all of those 100,000 of pages that he has written in his career. They were all not his words. They were dictated by an enlightened being named Manjusri, or gentle voice that he had direct communication with. And that's what we're studying. That's it.
So it was a download.
That was a lot of information. Wow, I hope your head's not spinning.
It's spinning in a good way.
It was a lot to take in, so it's not always like that, but today it was. Thank you for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll end with the prayer again, and then we prostrate, and then we go. So this time we do the offering of the mandala, and we try to do that little hand mudra again. And then from there on we dedicate this class, which is the third page, called Dedication of the Goodness of a Deed. Okay, so we'll do it in English again. Here is the great earth, filled with the smell of incense, covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the 4 continents, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha, and I offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalakam Nirati. I'll go to the dedication. So you keep your hands in prayer. By the goodness of what I have just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the 2 ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom is. Thank
So
you.
that's the class right there.
One's not frustration.
Yeah, one's wet.
Oh. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mariska.